Hey guys, today I'm going to be picking the Abloy DiskLock. In my last video I picked and gutted the Abloy Classic, and after picking through all my Abloy Classic locks, I wanted to start a new project, so I settled on the DiskLock as being the next best candidate to build a tool for. Now, other than the profile, there are a number of differences between this lock and the Classic. Most notably, it has return bars that allow the lock to be opened either clockwise or counterclockwise, and it also uses alternating size spacers. They alternate between 0.59 millimeters and 0.49 millimeters. So that means the thinnest spacer in the lock is roughly about 19 thousandths of an inch in thickness. Here's the key. Now the key has cuts from 7 different depths of cut between 0 and 6, and those are in 15-degree increments. About a month ago now I finished the first tool for the lock, and that's this tool in front here. And this tool was able to pick the lock open and worked really well, but there were a few things about it that I wanted to change. So I ended up building a second tool that I finished last week, and this one I'm really happy with. You can see it looks quite a bit different. One of the biggest changes is now the handles slide into each other. The reason I did that is so I could add depth markings, but because I had trouble fitting my rotary table to the mill, those will have to wait until I get that worked out. I have another rotary table coming that should arrive this week, so I should be able to add the depth markings soon. Other than that, the picking tip is now thinner. In this second tool, it's 15 thousandths versus the original tool's 18 thousandths thickness picking tip. The profile in the second tool is also milled to a more exacting standard, and I used a knurling tool for the first time. The knurls aren't perfect, but overall I like how they make the finished tool look, and it does give you something more to grip onto. So I'm going to get started picking this here. Because this front anti-drill disc just spins freely, I'm going to be showing that the lock is picked from the rear. So when the key is fully inserted into the lock and rotated, you can see the back of the plug now rotates. Now, first thing I want to do is insert the tool all the way into the rear of the lock. And then I'm going to apply clockwise tension to the rear disc. And I'm only able to rotate it about 40 degrees, and that's because of the return bars. To get the full rotation out of the rear disc, I have to locate the second tension disc and rotate it manually with the pick. And once that's done, now the return bars are fully rotated, and I can go about picking the lock like normal. So I'm going to start from the rear here. In my experience, the discs in the back tend to bind first. And the way I can identify a false gate versus a true gate is that the true gates take a lot more torque to rotate out of. Okay, so now I'm passing the middle tension disc. And now I'm going to be working on the discs in the front. Okay, all the discs are now rotated. Now I just need to find out which ones are not set correctly. So I'm going to start from the back and start checking all these. Oh, there we go. So that was the second disc from the rear. Okay, so you can see now the lock's been picked. So I'm going to go about gutting this thing now. I'm going to switch the camera's angle to make this a little easier. Okay, so now I got to pull this tool out. So that means I have to rotate all the discs back to their original position. There we go. Got the circlip off. I should be able to just pull this out now. Here you can see the sidebar. I'm going to take these ball bearings out. And I'll show you the return bars. So here you can see the two return bars in the lock. So that allows the key, when it's inserted, you can see them rotate in either direction. And then once the key's rotated, you can see all the true gates moved to their proper positions. Now I believe the copper colored spacers are the 0.59 millimeters and the black ones are 0.49. And I believe they use alternating size spacers to make decoding more difficult. All right, let me organize these a little better. So those are all the discs. The lock's fully gutted. The return bars are still in the plug. And you can see here the different colored spacers. The black ones are thinner and the copper ones are thicker. And then we have the different discs. This is the rear disc, and that's the one that tensions the return bar, and then there's another one in the middle of the lock right here that also tensions the return bar. So that's been the Abloy DiskLock picked and gutted. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good night.